Fire Escape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. We're here in Easton. We're looking at this fire escape here and a couple things that we're going to discuss. 3 codes that must be satisfied. The authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. At this time I'm not able to certify or allow this fire escape to be certified or load tested because I've got some issues which I'm about to discuss. The building code requires an examination, testing, or certification. Again, I'm not able to provide testing or certification because the fire escape has some deficiencies which I'm going to discuss. And then the fire code says that the authority, depending on the structural condition, a load test may be ordered. The condition of this fire escape has deficiencies, so a load test cannot be ordered at this time. So all 3 codes currently right now do not allow for the load testing or testing of this fire escape until spot repairs are made, and then we can proceed to a load test, or we can refurbish this fire escape and avoid the load test. So let me tell you all the things that need to be done. Under construction, which is great, so I was able to verify below, but I can't here. But if I can open this up a little bit, there is a through bolt that comes through. And there's a through bolt that comes through here that we should be able to identify before they close this up. So that needs to be done soon. We're looking at the connections outside that basically pick up the rest of the supports. This upper floor is not as bad as the lower floor, but it is blowing out and it is dipping, so there's an issue. Every one of these treads needs to be rebolted because there's evidence of rust in every one of the connections. We have nothing here but original hardware and rivets. Original square head bolts and original rivets dating this fire escape at probably 75-year-old or greater. Rust inside these connections, so these rivets got to be popped out and new bolts popped in. Otherwise, I have to load test to satisfy. Has been kept painted, so there's no paint issue. But original hardware everywhere. If there's rust inside the connection like there is here, you got to change the bolt, and then we can go to load test. Otherwise, every time you change any bolts, there is no load test. So again, all major structural must be changed. So if we have original hardware, any pops, we got to secure everything down, and every connection should be sealed upon repair. So rust in all the treads. Treads are popping, as you can see. There's gaps. So from below, I'll show you the shot. Those are the 3 through bolts. Here's the through bolt right here. I need to verify that on the inside, so that way I can then verify this connection. Verifying it inside, changing these rivets, changing these rivets, changing these rivets. I basically don't need to load test this platform after I've refurbished it. But if I want to keep the originals, these are old, I must load test it in order to get you the guarantee. Otherwise, the only thing I can provide is an opinion letter, and the opinion letter puts all the liability and responsibility back to the ownership. Okay, it's going down. All treads 100% change. All the connections down here, you got to connect it back in at the stringer level. So 100% tread rebolt. Any welds, I have to x-ray or load test, or as soon as I put in bolts here and seal it with silicone, no load test required. This building is, this whole thing is pulling out. We got a major pull here. So this whole platform is dipping and pulling out and dropped 4 inches. That's a major rehabilitation that needs to happen right there. Same thing happened right here, and I do have my through bolts right there. I can see the through bolts right there. And on this side, I was able to see the through bolt also from this side. Actually, it's blocked now, but I can see it. I can put my finger on it. But definitely this platform is dipping down, so we need to get this resolved. So this platform is not stable right now as we speak. The wall has buckled, so this whole platform needs to be rebolted and reconnected back to this building. See all the rust inside here? Take out all the rust. No rust in any of the connections. So prior to a load test, 100% of all the rust must be out of any major structural connections, and even minor structural connections. But otherwise, we cannot load test it. This whole thing is buckled out, so this gets repaired. We can't even load test this. 100% of these treads are showing evidence of rust still in the connections, so 100% of these treads must be rebolted. Coming down, you can see the pitch. She's probably dropped 2 to 3 inches. From here to there, she's off level, and she's buckled the wall, so that needs to be dealt with. She sits right here on this wood deck. I don't know if this wood deck is getting redone, but there's several holes on this wood deck. And I think this wood deck now needs to be calculated into the mix as to what's going on here, as to whether or not this is going to be part of the 100 pounds per square foot load requirement. So that needs to be dealt with the city official. We're going to be stepping out and then going into the cantilever going down. We can see some evidence of rust inside the gussets there. See if I can show you from this side. Yep, see the evidence of gussets. And let's go underneath here and show you some of the evidence of rusting. Somebody came in here and just welded the nose, but see, the bolt's gone, see? There's no bolt there. The head's still here. The shaft is gone and there's no nut on the inside. So somebody just came in and kind of welded the nose. So all of these, see, gone. So a lot of these, they've already, the rear bolts already popped out. There's nothing there, and yet they just kept painting. So fire escape, this one, the nut's gone on the front one. The head's still there. Rust is in the connection, so 100% of all the treads need to be redone. As far as these railings, the recommendation here is that if this is going to be up to code bar, you're probably going to need at least 42 inches high. My recommendation is to take these castings and fit them into a new set of railings where the castings are embedded into a new code compliant railing, and that there's no holes bigger than 4 inches, and then that this casting is either part of the design or there's a railing behind this, and these castings are actually part of the cover if there's an issue with the historical nature of this building. So we can make this railing code compliant and part of a brand new railing that's going to be 42 inches high. And casting is a problem. These casts have been welded there. These are all problematic. Cast does not weld very good once it breaks. There's a problem here, but this is also 36 inches high. It's not code. So we can deal with that as part of this fire escape repair. As you can see, it's rotted into the floors. It's not even properly attached. So that's this part of the fire escape. Then you get into this part here. There is cast. I don't know if this is getting load tested or not, or verified, but this is holding up that beautiful corner. But this is an obstruction here, but I think this can either be accepted as an as-is condition, or we can cut in here and extend this and sort of, make it so that you don't pound your head into this thing. Otherwise, it is an obstruction because I run right into it. Again, some cement repacking that the photographs will show. Verification of that pivot point that carries all this weight. Again, all the treads are still both here and on the cantilever. All original hardware, and there's rust inside some of the connections that they've welded. And again, the welds are not verifiable without an x-ray or a load test. And there's rust in the connections for sure. I can put my finger in here. There's no cement in here. The weight balance, it needs a release arm so that this thing drops 2 to 3 feet per second, hits the ground and stays down. So there's a release arm that stays here, so that when I push the release arm, it releases that, and that thing drops 2 to 3 feet per second and hits the ground and stays down. Because right now, there's a door obstruction over there, so that door cannot be opened because that thing won't come down with the door. And we have original hardware, rivets tied in. All these must be dealt with, meaning we verify that connection into the building while it's still here. We don't have to duplicate it, and the rivets on top can stay, but we need another bolt to back up the rivets. I'll pop those rivets, put in new bolts with no need a load test. That's as far as we got on this. Again, the main concern is going to be the wood, because this is probably inside the building. This is hanging outside the building, and below this, as the photographs will show, there's a lot of cast iron supports. So we have to decide whether or not we're going to keep those cast iron supports and load test them, or make new supports, use the cast irons inside them to basically use them as decoration, so that we don't have to load test this portion. But obviously there's a rotten deck here that's going to be dealt with anyway, that is part of the fire escape egress. So this is all going to be discussed with Cindy. Any questions, fire escape engineers? This is Inspector Meneses here. 866-649-0333. 866-649-0333. Any work that's going to be performed must have an engineer of record, acceptable to Cindy, and then permits required to do any and all this work. This is all permittable work, unless Cindy says no permits required, but this needs to have a repair permit. And as far as painting, The only thing left that needs to be painted, I guess, is this, and this is probably older than 78, so this has got lead on it, so you have to have an EPA renovator's license, so that as you scrape and paint any of this, that you're not getting anything with lead, any paint with lead, and contaminating the area down below or the people down below. Any questions? Farscape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. This is Inspector Meneses. 866-649-0333.